Hello everyone, this is Cass from Mad Alchemy Comics, and I'm here to bring you another Mad Alchemy Comics What If, where I take the characters from the Mad Alchemy universe and I see how they fare in other stories across other mediums. So today we'll be continuing the Resident Evil series, where we will be concluding the Cold Veronica X story. So without further ado, let's get into it. So where we left off is we have Chris Redfield and Joseph Westbrook on the compound in the Arctic. Their goal is to get in, save their siblings, get off the island, and collect their thoughts in trying to stop Umbrella. So Joseph and Chris are, dealing with your standard pawns, zombies, and BOWs, while also dealing with some lingering soldier types that have come on the island with Wesker. This is going to be your simple mid-grade Resident Evil game with a little co-op element to it. Because they don't have the Rowan or the abilities of Lauren, or even like the tactical mind or ingenuity of Michael, it's not going to be so easy, like how it was on the prison island. So they're going around, like I said, they're fighting them, getting a little damage, getting a little scuffed, nothing that they can't handle as a trained soldier or cop, and someone who's growing and beginning to become comfortable with this type of thing in Chris Redfield. So as they're dealing with a series of bugs and zombified Umbrella soldiers that came with Wesker, they're solving their puzzles, dealing with other BOWs and things like that. So now they've come and they've found their siblings all across the compound, cocooned on walls and things like that. They've got them all together and saved them. So now, after saving them, they are now on their way to getting off the island. Getting to a certain point in the game, they have now run into Alexia Ashford. This has, she sets off her powers, she's utilizing flames and things like that. They catch them, communicating, Wesker's trying to, bring her into the Umbrella fold. Of course, she's not having it. Everybody's going against each other. This is the first encounter. You have Chris and Joseph doing their thing. Like I said, it's just your standard Resident Evil, first wave boss fight. They handle her fairly easily. I would say nothing too hard yet because she's just been released. They dispatch her. Wesker goes off his way. Alexia goes off her way. Now they're trying to get what they need to get off the island. Getting all the things they need, solving the remaining puzzles, they are now prepared to go. As they get to the docking station where they are trying to, get off the island, they run into Alexia once again. This time, she's a little bit more transformed, a little bit harder. Joseph and Chris are now, battling her, trying to get her at bay. Again, now that she's more transformed and, into her, BOW state, she's now a lot harder. If you're familiar with the Alexia boss fight near the end, you have to utilize certain things to get her and stuff like that. But with two trained guys now, it's going to be hard. The reason why I didn't add the others to it is because they're now shaken up, a little traumatized from certain events. Claire, she runs into Steve. Steve dies. Everybody's still a little groggy from being stuck in cocoons. So I just kept it Joseph and Chris like it is in the end. So they do dispatch of Alexia. They utilize the special gun that you get in the end, like usually you get in the end of any Resident Evil game, and they hit her and destroy her. Now the countdown begins because now we have another compound being ready to be blown up. They're running to where they need to go. They have their keys and all that. They have their mini interaction with Wesker. Wesker is now, enhanced himself. So now this does catch the eye of, Michael as they're trying to get off. But they see, Chris handling him a little bit, outsmarting him with a little tutelage from Joseph. But it's all Chris. He gets crushed by the banisters and things like that. And they go on their way. Getting to the plane, Chris and Claire will take a plane. And the Westbrooks will take a boat. They say their goodbyes. They say they will meet back on Civilization, where they will talk about more how to deal with Umbrella. And they all go their way, talking about how to stop Umbrella and how this could better help Alchemy in the future and learning from this. So, closing out, I'm going to grade this scenario in two ways. The conclusion and then the overall scenario of Veronica. So with Chris and Joseph overall closing out, I would give it a good solid 7. It's not hard because Chris is becoming more trained and Joseph is still more experienced in dealing with this type of deal. It's nothing that they are not knowledgeable about, but because they lack that firepower and then they're just two tactical soldiers, it's just a Resident Evil co-op game. So how you ever deal with a Resident Evil game is generally how hard this would be for them. So say you play on normal, it would be a normal Resident Evil experience. That's why I give it a 7, with some co-op elements. Now overall, from start to finish with Michael, Lauren, Rowan, and Claire, and then you add Joseph and Chris later, I would give the overall story, again, about a 6 or 7. Because certain elements were missing, like Joseph's tactical mind in the early game and then the lack of power later, they had to deal with how every scenario, how they would deal it overall. So, no tactical mind, but a lot of power and ability and their medical prowess. No power, but a lot of tactical and weapons and ingenuity. So that would be a normal experience for them. So overall, Westbrooks would survive, but this would be an overall normal, you're getting hurt here, getting scuffed up here, but overall you're still going to be good. So that concludes the Veronica story. I hope you like it, and I have an announcement. So we're going to be continuing the Resident Evil story going into Halloween, where we'll be dealing with 4, 5, 6, and then going into the recent games. And also we're going to be covering on some more stories dealing with the Johnsons. The Johnsons are a story we're dealing with called Spirit X Night. So if you've made it this far, tell me how you guys like that and how you like the What If so far if you watched them, and I'll catch you next time. See you in Halloween, and I hope you enjoy your day. Thank you and have a good one.